Hi friends, how are you? I'm Rob Strong and it's my Friday to come to you and bring you guys a fun little quick tutorial that's usually not quick because I talk way too much and then we end up spending all of our time here, but that's okay because it's our lunch hour, it's Friday, we're relaxing, we're having a good old time. So I hope you all are enjoying your time. I know things are steadily getting back to normal around here, and it's been nice to feel a little bit safer, which is great. So today we're going to be crocheting, or I'm going to show you how to do some crochet. Anyway, we're not going to crochet the whole thing, but we're going to crochet a big part of it, the Cortado Throw. So this, my ring light showing, but this beautiful throw, oh, look at that texture, you guys. I love this Afghan. Do you call them throws or Afghans? I have the biggest issue with calling things Afghans and throws. It's just ridiculous. So anyway, good morning, Michelle. I was just going to say something and then I totally forgot. Like it just went, it was gone. It's gone. I just had my tea. I've been trying to do this no coffee thing, you guys. Oof, my hair can tell you what's going on. I've been trying to do this no coffee thing and I don't know how people do it. How do you live without coffee? It just doesn't make any sense. And I don't care what people say. Tea just isn't the same. Like, I don't know what is wrong with the tea world, but I need more caffeine. So anyway, the Cortado Throw is actually my pattern. You can buy the PDF on Annie's website. I have a number of patterns up there that are for digital download. There's my Marigold Afghan, which is probably one of the most beautiful Afghans I've ever made. It's completely gorgeous. There's the Cortado Afghan. Of course, you can sign up for my class for the wonderful, everyone loves stained glass Afghan, which we have a really good surprise coming up with that. But yeah, the Cortado Throw was something that I designed a few weeks back, and everyone keeps asking me where I got the idea. And I just keep saying, I don't know. So like the main idea was like, how can I make a square mandala style Afghan? So it worked from the center with just like a few stitches all the way out in a big square, but also make it not boring. Because here's the thing. I think mandala Afghans are great. I just finished one that I love that's beautiful and it was so much fun to make. But after a while, like the rounds just get really long and then I get really tired. So I wanted something where I wasn't gonna have to commit to doing these really long rounds. And then I figured out what it was. And that was changing colors in the corners. It revolutionized my crafting. And I used my favorite kind of yarn, a striping, self-striping, gradient-ish kind of yarn. This one, and this is what the pattern uses, is called Lion Brand Ferris Wheel. If you have not used this yarn and you can get your hands on some, you definitely should. This is a wonderful yarn. I also used a solid yarn. Today I'm just gonna be using this, which is Premier Yarns Everyday Worsted, I believe it's called. And yeah, so anyway, that's that. I just want to give you guys a little bit of the inspiration behind it. So I'm going to flip the camera around and then we're actually going to just get started crocheting. I kind of want to show you how to get started from the center out, and then how to change colors, how to do like working in the round, but also with turned rounds, because I always get questions about that. So we're gonna crochet for a little bit. I figure why not? That'll be lots of fun. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and we're gonna hopefully do this. Hopefully it'll look good. All right. Okie dokie. I'm gonna move the camera down a little bit so it's closer to my hands so you all can see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is what the pattern looks like. I just love it. It's so pretty. So you can kind of see here in the corner that we change colors. Now, the way that we do this is the majority of this Afghan, except for the last few rounds, are worked in turned rounds. So if you've ever made a hat, or it's probably not the greatest example, but if you've ever worked in the round when you're crocheting, you often know that you work to the seam, and then you chain, and then you work the next round, or you work in spirals. So this one, you work back and forth in turned rounds. And so even though we're working in a circle or square, but in the round, we're technically gonna turn. So important to keep in mind. There is no way to do this without turning. I've gotten a lot of questions about that, but there's no way to do that. So keep that kind of in your back pocket. So there are a number of different stitches, but don't freak out because it's actually not too bad. Here's another great color. I love this thing. It's so great. But you can see that this is the center here. So pretty much the first 2/3 of this entire throw is the same repeat, just repeated 3 times. Then we get into some of the really fun stitches. And again, they're not totally long and boring like some mandalas. They're a lot of fun and they change it up, which I love. So you're going to need 5 skeins of, you'll need, 5 skeins of Ferris wheel. So it's color changing yarn, it's self-striping. Don't use a variegated yarn on this Afghan. Use a self-striping or gradient yarn if you can. Variegated, the stitches will just get lost. And then you're gonna need a solid yarn that coordinates. Choose a neutral. That's my biggest tip. So your neutral is going to be your B color and your color changing yarn is gonna be your A color. You also need a 6.5 millimeter crochet hook and a tapestry needle. Now, I am going to show you how to get started and how to work the first few rounds. Oh, now I gotta deal with some yarn barf here, but it's okay. There we go. So to get started, we're gonna chain 4. Now, you could make a slip ring if you wanted, but I hate making slip rings. They are the worst. So I just do chains. So we're going to chain 4. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then into your 4th chain from the hook, you're going to work 2 double crochet, chain 2, then 3 double crochet. Now, like I said, we're working every round in 2 colors. So we're going to work until we just have 2 loops left on our double crochet. And we're going to grab our second color, which is this cream color. Then all I'm going to do is yarn over my hook and pull through those 2 loops to finish off the double crochet. That's going to give us a nice, even transition from one color to the next. But don't worry, we're not going to be cutting our yarn every round or anything like that. We're actually not really going to have to cut our yarn really at all. So after we do that, we need to chain 2, 3 double crochet into that same chain. Chain 2, 3 double crochet. Then we'll chain 2 again. Now we're going to join into the 3rd chain of our beginning, chain 3 with a slip stitch. Then we need to grab the tail from our beginning chain and pull that nice and tight. All right, so see how we got half and half there? This is a great beginning if you were going to do like a half and half granny square or anything like that. It should look like this. Now, when I was talking about turn rounds earlier, if we were to continue working in the round, we would just keep going like this. But because we're doing turn rounds, we're just going to turn our work so the wrong side is facing us. Cool, right? So we need to slip stitch into our first chain 2 space, then chain 1. We're going to single crochet in the same space, then single crochet in each of the next 3 double crochet. In this next chain 2 space, we're going to work 2 single crochet, then single crochet in each of the next 3 double crochet. Then we'll single crochet in the next chain 2 space, but because we need to change color, we're going to make sure that the yarn that we were just using, so this here, is laying towards us, right? So we want this to be down like this. We're going to hold it with our thumb. Then we're going to pick up the yarn that we dropped earlier when we finished off that double crochet in the last round. We're going to take that and finish the single crochet by pulling that through. Then we're going to single crochet into that same space. All right, so next we need to single crochet in each of the next 3 double crochet, then 2 single crochet in the next chain 2 space, single crochet in the next 3 doubles, and remember that the last double we're gonna single crochet into is actually that beginning chain 3. Now, if you get confused with your chains, you can always pop a stitch marker into the top of your turning chain, and that way you'll always know where your last stitch needs to go. We're going to single crochet into that next chain 2 space, and then we're going to slip stitch into our very first single crochet. Now, if we look closely, we'll see that we have essentially, it looks like 2 stitches before our first single crochet. That's because this stitch here is our slip stitch, this stitch here is our chain stitch, and this stitch here is our actual single crochet. So we want to make sure that we're slipping into the single crochet and not the slip or the chain. That's very important. All right, now we're going to turn our work. So now we're back on the right side. All right, we're going to chain 3 and we're going to double crochet into the first single crochet. Now, very similarly to what I just showed you, we need to be careful not to work into this stitch here. This stitch is the slip stitch. We want to go into the single crochet. Okay, we're going to double crochet in that single crochet. Now we're going to double crochet in each of the next 3 singles. Then we get to that chain 2 space from 2 rounds before where we worked 2 single crochets from the last round. Into each of those single crochets, we're going to work 2 doubles. All right, now we're going to double in each of the next 3 singles. And now we're getting to that corner where we need to change colors again. So what we'll do is work 2 double into the next single of the same color. That's always your little indicator that we're going to switch the colors because we come to that end of whatever color we're holding in our hand. I'm going to just kind of let that hang at the back. Then I'm going to pick up my next color, put it on my hook, and pull it through 2. And you'll notice that every time I change, I do give this little strand just a little pull. Now we have that next single crochet that's still part of that chain 2 space from a couple rounds before. We're going to work 2 doubles into that. Then we're going to work a double into each of the next 3 singles. Now we come to that corner where we have 2 singles of the same color. So we'll work 2 doubles into each of the next 2 singles. And if I'm going a little bit fast, always remember that you'll be able to view this later, whether it's here on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or anything like that. So, all right, now we're going to double into each of the next 3 singles. And then we come to our very last stitch, our last single crochet there. And we're going to work two doubles into that single. Then again, we're going to find the top of our chain 3 from our previous, or from this same round, but from our previous color. And we're going to join into the top of that chain 3. So see how just changing the color there really allows you to get this super cool graphic look. And you can imagine how as you continue, and in your color changing yarn starts to change colors even more. Like I can pull some of this ball out and see like, we're gonna start transitioning to this green color. And how cool is that gonna look? And I mean, I love this color particularly is called Imaginary Garden, which I think would look great for a boy's Afghan. And you don't have to use just like Lion Brand Ferris wheel. You could also use something like Red Heart Super Saver Ombre. This would look great because it's a great ombre transition and it's going to look beautiful. This would look great on a little girl's Afghan. And then you could also use one of my very favorite yarns in the whole wide world, Red Heart Super Saver Stripes. Now, I am a huge Super Saver fan. I have a ton of Super Saver, and the stripes are my absolute favorite. So this is a great option to use as well, and it comes in a ton of really cool colors. All right, so do we want to keep crocheting a little bit? Because I do, so let's keep going. So after we have joined at the end of round 3, let's move on to round 4. And then if you guys have any questions, pop them in the comments. And after this round, we'll go through the questions and I'll answer them. Yeah, so they can be about this pattern or crochet, questions that you have or anything like that in general. All right, so what we're gonna do again is turn our work. So now we're at the wrong side. A great way to always see whether or not you're at the wrong side or the right side. Obviously when you're working in the round, it's a little bit easier, but because we're turning, you know, it can get a little fiddly. So, your tails are always going to be on the back. And as you get to the end and you have more and more rounds, you can always put stitch markers on the back on the wrong side. And that'll just give you a little visual cue to say, oh, hey, I am on the wrong side now. All right, next we're going to chain 1 and we're going to work 2 single crochets into the next double crochet. Then we're going to single crochet in each of the next 5 doubles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to work 2 singles into the next double, and then we're going to do that one more time. So we'll do 2 singles into the next double, and single into each of the next 5 doubles, and into that very last stitch before we change colors, we'll work 1 single, and then we're going to just work that second single, but before closing it off, we're going to change that color again and pull through. Then we're going to repeat what we just did. 2 singles, and then single into each of the next 5 until you get to that double crochet. Then we'll work 2 singles, 2 more singles, and then we'll single all the way across until we get to the end. I wasn't sure about this color combination when I picked it out of my basket today, but I think I won my own self over. And now I'm gonna have to make one of these with this color combo. Now again, look for that slip stitch and that chain 1, and then find your very first single crochet of that 2 single crochet group, and then join there, all right? So you're just going to continue, and obviously you'll purchase the pattern and you'll follow it, but you can see that it's really not that intimidating to change the colors and to keep working. While this throw blanket looks a little more complicated, it's honestly not. Just changing the colors and adding in some textured stitches really helps it kind of just show off. Now, one of the things you'll notice is that after you get to the end of the repeat, so you can see that a repeat ends when it transitions from the solid color to the self-striping, we alternate the different colors. So that's what gives you this kind of almost like broken look effect. It looks kind of mirrored almost, but it looks so cool. It's so much fun. I absolutely love this thing. It's great. All right, so I'm gonna flip the camera around and there we go. And move it up a little bit so you don't have to stare at my nose. Ugh. It's the joy of being super duper tall. All right, so I'm gonna look back through the comments and answer some of your questions that you may have. There we go. Boop, boop, boop. And if you guys have any more questions, just pop them in the comments below. Like I said, they can be about anything, whether it's crochet. Lisa asked, a little unrelated, but I'm wondering how you learned to crochet so quickly. I've been crocheting for years, but I'm so afraid of making a mistake that can be easily fixed if noticed halfway through the project, I'm guessing. So that's a tough one. I do crochet fast, but not all the time. Most of the time, I'm actually crocheting, I would say, pretty average. My friend Lisa Artori, she does Whip Wednesdays. You guys, I'm sure, know her. She crochets a lot faster than I do. I crochet fast, but with my own patterns, I've made them so many times. And like with this particular throw, I've probably made it or started making it like, I don't know, 6 or 7 times now. So I just know what stitches need to go and where they need to go and all that kind of stuff. So I would just say practice a lot and just don't be afraid to make mistakes. I make so many mistakes. I have so many, you guys want to see a mistake? Oh. So I have been filming a class for Annie's Creative Studio. And I don't know, I made a huge mistake. And basically, this is one of the patterns that we did. This entire round that's done in orange here, it's done completely incorrect. So there's that. And then also, this is embarrassing. I ran out of yarn because my gauge was off. So half of it's in the correct color and the other half is in the wrong color. So it happens. We all make mistakes. You know, we just don't always show them. So that's what I would say. All right. I'm scrolling back through. Just a reminder that this will be on YouTube a little bit later today. This will also be on Instagram, IG stories, and here on Facebook, you'll be able to watch it afterwards. You guys are so lovely. Oh my goodness. Another one. How do you crochet fast without making mistakes and not noticing them? I just don't show my mistakes. I do make mistakes. I promise. I promise. I'm trying to see if I have anything around that has like a big glaring mistake. One of them actually was in the Gothic Rose Afghan. One of the blocks is different than all the other blocks, but you can't tell unless you know which one it is. And I'm not telling anybody. Why would I tell anyone that? I'm not going to show it. So, yeah, like just know that mistakes are normal. Mistakes happen. And don't worry about crocheting fast. Everyone wants to go super fast. But the reality is that some things aren't made for us to go fast. Sometimes we need to slow down. Sometimes we need to take our time and enjoy playing with the yarn. And I know that I get the same way with like reading books. I want to just like read all the books. But sometimes I like so focused on reading so fast that I realize I'm just looking at the words. I'm not really delving into the process of doing it, of reading and like being immersed in that world. And it's the same thing with knitting and crochet. You want to be immersed in the project and take your time with that project and really enjoy the yarn. Now, primarily, as you guys know, lately I've been pretty much only designing Afghans and throws. And that's because I fell in love with the process of making them. Just this really cool, like, I'm going to slow down. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to crochet and I'm going to enjoy the yarn. And I love it. I love it. So, all right. So those were the two big questions that I saw. Yeah, fudge your mistakes. It's fine, you guys. Like, mistakes are normal. Mistakes happen. Don't freak out about mistakes, I promise. It's going to be okay. We all make mistakes. And the more you crochet, the more you'll learn how to fix them. I can't tell you how many times I have worked on something and there are mistakes in them that are glaringly obvious. And then I finish it and then I'm like, I never look at the mistake, ever. And I never notice it again because and I'm looking over in the corner because I have a blanket ladder full of blankets. And I bet you every single one has mistakes in them because it happens. And I'm not going to rip out 20 rows of an Afghan to fix it. I'm just not going to do it. There's no reason to do that. So, all right. I've rambled on long enough. So the Cortado Throw is going to be your new favorite Afghan, I'm telling you. So make sure you go to Annie's and pick it up. It's a whole lot of fun. I absolutely love this pattern. It features bobbles and post stitches. It's got some granny square stitches. It's got some half double crochet in the third loop. There's so many fun stitches to do. You're going to absolutely love it. While you're there, make sure you check out my other Afghan patterns. You can finally sign up for the Gothic Rose Afghan class. So you'll get the pattern, you'll get all the yarn requirements, everything. You'll also get I think it's a 6-part video class where I take you through how to do everything. And if you sign up for the class, you'll be able to ask me questions directly and I always answer them pretty quickly. So there's that too. Yeah, and I have a new free pattern coming out next week. So if you're not signed up for my newsletter, make sure you do that. It's, spoiler alert, an Afghan. And I did post a picture of it on my Instagram. So if you haven't seen it and you're on Instagram, go take a look. Yeah, so I think that's it, friends. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope you get to enjoy all of the crochet. We're gonna have beautiful weather here in Raleigh. So I can't wait to sit outside and crochet a little bit and go on walks with the dogs. It's gonna be a great weekend. So, all right, until next time, I'll talk to you friends later. Bye y'all, happy stitching.